Okay, so big day, getting all the prep work done in this engine bay. I also painted the underneath in black, just a bit of chassis black. And I painted the boot floor as well in black. And now we're ready to start getting some paint on. So I decided to get these boot hinges painted at the same time as I'm painting the engine bay. That way when we're painting the body, we're not going to have stuff blowing out when we're trying to paint these hinges. Could just lead to having some crap in the paintwork. So prep work we did on this was just to get the get a spray gun with some gum wash thinners in it and just clean off all of the grease and oil and stuff like that, and then a rag, and then gave it a good Scotch-Brite down, sanded the worst of the areas like around here, got rid of all the chips and stuff and all the rust. There's a bit of rust through this battery tray, so I treated that, primed over it. There's a bit of rust through that rail where fuel or brake fluid's probably been leaking down there, and removed all the paint, which then it started rusting. And yeah, I've given it a good tack rag down. I put some seam sealer back up the back there because that's been chewed out. All that sealer was cracked, so nice neat bead up there. And ready to get some colour on. I'm going to be using a ground coat for this. I've mixed up some violet. It's going to help me not use too much of the top coat colour. Be using the SGK for base coat and clear coat, and it's concept base and clear I'm going to be using on the engine bay. When it comes to the exterior body, I'm going to be using a better clear, and that's going to be the Standox HS clear. But for the insides, the MS Standox is MS concept is going to be just fine. So that's the base coat down. I put one ground coat down first and then 3 coats of the Morpheous purple down. Paint code is 448N and Holden manufacturer. Looking pretty nice, all covered, flashed off, ready for me to mix up some clear coat and smash some on. So there we go, all done, 2 coats of clear over that, just using that concept MS clear. Got a pretty nice gloss out of it. If my engine bay looked this good, I'd be pretty happy. It doesn't. I just did mine in subframe black because I didn't pull the engine out. But pretty happy with that. All this actually ends up getting covered anyway. It's got this is a Calais, and it's got those big pop-up lights and this big plate that covers all that. There's a few bits of pitted rust here, but they have been treated. That's the main thing. Plus the battery sits over it anyway. I doubt I'd be getting too fussy about that. The parts that matter, these suspension towers and your skirts, and up the back here too. So I had to change these gun settings a fair bit. As I was painting, I was just moving that fan, closing it up with some of those tight spots to get inside all here and that, and opening it up as I was doing parts like this. Obviously when you're closing the fan up, you want to hold that gun a bit further back, or else it'll just start blasting the paint away and getting big messy runny areas and stuff. But before I painted it, I was thinking I might help to use the minigun in some spots, but I got the hang of how it was going, and it turned out I didn't need it. I was able to pick up those edges on the spot, but pretty sure I got it all covered. Up under all there, it's looking nice. And just those boot hinges too. Had a big day today, got a bit done, pretty happy with it. Okay, so the boot floor's all done, all the underbody has been painted, engine bay done, and I'm ready to start getting some prep work done. Got a good 4 coats of primer over the entire body and an extra one over the repairs, so I'll be giving the whole thing a really good block down. But before I started to sand it, I made sure I put in some fine filler, a few little spots here and there, a couple of little pinholes and little spots that weren't 100% perfect. I find you're better off putting them in before you block it down. Just going to be hitting it with this block here, 180 grit. Make sure I'm wearing my respirator. Stop any of the dust breathing that in. Once it's been blocked down, I'll probably hit it with some 320 and then do my edges with 320 and then finish it off with 500 grit. So, ready to start getting a bit of colour onto this VL. It's been a big couple of days. I'll tell you what, it's taken a very long time to prep up. Worst part of it has been these door jams. Just so much sanding and refilling and priming, like all through here it was a bit rough, and especially on the other side was probably a bit worse. I've got those couple of doors over there ready as well. Even around these window openings there was lots of rust and it was all pitted, so it's sort of fiddly areas that takes a long time to fill and sand. Making, you know, sure I pay a lot of attention to detail, wanting to keep the customer happy. He's actually a viewer of mine as well, so the last thing I want is a unhappy customer. I'm taking a little bit extra time with the masking around here and just all these finishing touches around here, making sure it's all nice. You probably remember on my own car, I just did a quick one around here. I just masked straight up over here. You know, you can see a bit of the previous colour under there, but it all does get covered. But I want this to look good when it's stripped and also when it's back together. It's all inside these jams. It was all old damage. I think it's been hit in the sill panel before, so just had to keep filling and sanding and priming, and I finally got it to something that I'm happy with to get some colour on. A couple of doors here as well. This one came off my old red Commodore, ended up stripping the entire top of that door, priming, and there was a couple of little spots here that I'd missed as well, so refilled and shot a bit of 1K acrylic primer over. I finally got a 1K that I trust. It's a Nason brand of all brands. It's reasonably priced, and I trust it with 2-pack clear over base over the top. I used this primer on my own car, and that was painted over a month ago, and there is still no shrink back where the 1K was, so I do trust it. So I'm going to be doing the black around these window frames first. I'm going to put a bit of masking up, paper up here to stop the black from going all over the roof. Put some base coat black down here, around here, and on these frames first. Also going to mask the top of that door off to keep the worst of the black off it, black around these frames. I'll then have to leave that for say 20 minutes, half an hour, mask them off, base coat the purple, and then unmask that and clear the whole job at once. Definitely going to make for a better job. There'll be less of an edge there because it's all cleared over the top of. Around here needs to go black as well, and it comes down here a little bit too, so you can just see through the tail light gap there, so it's got to go black. I've done a couple of little bits of seam sealer, not too much on this one, just around here obviously where the fuel has spilt and started to eat away at that factory sealer, but most of the factory sealer was okay. A couple of little spots here, and I did a couple of spots on the insides of those doors as well where it had split. And I'm doing this guard here as well, so those who watch a lot of my videos probably already know that the air in my booth comes up there and then comes down this way. That's why I've decided to paint this guard facing this way. If I had the panel facing that way, all the overspray would be hitting the outside of the panel and creating dust and stuff. What is actually overspray, but it looks like you haven't tack ragged it or something. So hopefully by facing it in that direction, I'll be able to get a nice clean finish on it. I've got this fuel door here too. So I've got the black down on all the frames and that back section there. I'll just use this little gun here. Use just the Star minigun 1.2 on it. I use the Concept No Mix NM10. So it's just a deep black 1:1 mixing ratio, solvent based. As you can see, I've done all these frames here. They come up quite nice. Still a bit wet. I'm going to go out, leave it for 10-15 minutes. Ambient temperature today is 25 degrees, so I won't be having to heat up my clear or anything like that. You can see I did this masking around here just to keep the bulk of that overspray off the roof. It's just going to sort of turn a bit dusty, so I'll just come back and just pick those points. I know where they're meant to be masked. It's sort of just below here. It's like a couple of mil below that, and sort of runs just along a straight line the whole way across. So I'll come back in, do that masking, and then give the entire thing a really good tack rag with a brand new tack rag. Just go over it 3 or 4 times, high pressure air. Then I'll get my base coat mixed up and get some of that on. Just the prep work that I did do on this car, I think I missed that out before. I blocked the entire thing down with 180 grit. Made sure I was happy with it. There was a couple of spots, as I said, I had to fill here and there. It's not uncommon when you're doing jobs this size to miss a couple of bits, but did that. And then 320 orbital sander. I also 320'd by hand with one of those softback sanding sponges, all that rough orange peel around all the jams. I then finished it off with 600 grit on the orbital, and then 500 grit by hand over all that 320 grit and all the edges and flats. Alright, so finally ready to get some base coat on. That was a mission and a half doing all that masking. By the time I did these 2 doors, the openings here and the back area here, that said goodbye to easily an hour. I've then gone around high pressure air and a yellow tack rag, and tack ragged it all down 3 times, going over each surface 3 times. Make sure it's nice and clean. Make sure I've got a bit of water on the floor. That helps the overspray stick to the water and stop it from bouncing back up and making a mess. Got tack rag all that down, ready to go. I'm going to use the SGK and I'm going to use a ground coat as well, just to get coverage easier. I'll use less top coat colour. So I'll just be leaving it there for this video. Just a bit of a sneak peek of what there is to look forward to in our next video. If you guys liked it, as always, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Be sure to leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of it. I'll do my best to get back to any relevant questions. Check out the description of this video. I've got links to all my social media. There's a couple of links to a couple of videos at the end of this vid too, so check them out if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and this has been another Gunman production. Goodbye.